How to approach a woman and better understanding female psychology. Now, this is a subject that I love. There are two competing worldviews. That's probably too broad of a term. There are two competing opinions on how to approach women. First one is a cold approach. Second one is IOI approach. Cold approach basically is the opinion that nothing should stop you. If you see a woman that you are attracted to, that is a strong, confident man, you should go up, initiate, start a conversation with her, and begin to go from there. Now, I believe actually there's a middle ground here, which both approaches are probably right. I've utilized both approaches. So this one, let's just say you're walking down the street, you see a woman who's attractive and she just walked past you. Let's say you didn't even really make eye contact. She was looking at her phone, but you found her really attractive. You would go back, maybe tap her on the shoulder, just let her know how beautiful she is and go from there. That is one approach. And there's a whole science and art to how to make that work. And I think it's an important tool to have in your arsenal. And I think it does take a lot of guts. I think it's tough because you're interrupting somebody in the middle of their life and you're just kind of coming. I think how you do it matters. I think when you do it matters. I think social context is important. It can be easier to do this if there's a group of women together and there's one that you want to hit on, and how to approach a set, as they called it in the old pickup community times. There is genuinely an art and science to this, but I think, again, probably the most important thing is you're just going up and you find somebody attractive and you are going to feel guilty if you don't say anything. I think you need to go and discuss. I think you need to go and say what you have to say, even if that means rejection. You'll feel better. Now, the other way, and some people can see this as a weaker way, but I really feel that it's the much more constructive way, which is the IOA way, which is the indicators of interest. And so women do not flirt the same way that guys flirt. I think for guys, what you have to recognize is the subtleties of a woman's attraction signals. And that could be something as simple as, twirling her hair, just glancing up at you, where she sits in proximity to you. Again, not all of these means that they're attracted to you or anything like that, but the ones that are, if they are trying to let you know, they're not just going to come out and hold a sign that says, "Hi, I'm attracted to you." There's going to be subtleties to it, and you need to just be aware of these subtleties and be willing to act on them. And so if I see an indicator of interest, and sometimes it's subtle, but there's often times where it'll be the twirling of the hair, standing next to me in line. Then I'll go sit down, and then she'll be sitting directly across from me, facing me, and then I'll get up to get a drink. Then she'll get up to get a drink. She'll drop a napkin. I'll pick it up. And at some point, it's just so obvious. Now, I don't have to wait for it to get this obvious. I think women are pretty frustrated that nowadays they have to make it much more obvious because men aren't approaching. But I look for IOIs. Now, they don't have to be labor intensive. It doesn't have to be a half an hour process. It could be the way that she looks at me and she smiles. There's so many nuances to this, but start with the obvious ones. And if you see an indicator of interest, I would just encourage you to go up before you're leaving and say, "Listen, I just had to let you know that I think you are stunningly attractive, and I would feel guilty if I didn't say anything." That is one way. Another way is to just actually initiate a conversation. Sometimes what I'll do is, if there's a woman that I feel is giving me indicators of interest, and let's say there's an older woman between us, I'll sometimes initiate the conversation with the older woman, and then I'll look at the other woman and say, "Well, what's your opinion on it?" That's another way. I would say having casual conversation. If she's in the middle of work and I'm getting up and I'm walking past her and she's on her laptop, I might say, like, "Looks like a busy day for you," and just just whatever question you genuinely want to know, just start the conversation. And so I think that's the other important way. I would say for men, there's two big components here. If you're going to make eye contact and you're both making eye contact, you do not be the first one to look away. Hold it, and it could be uncomfortable, but if you're strong and you're confident, the longer you hold it, the greater the probability of it actually you signaling to them that you're attracted to them and that you're a confident, strong man. So hold your eye contact. That's a big component, and just be willing. Just be willing to put yourself out there, and to have the type of initiating conversation that signals to them, lets them know that you are in fact attracted to them, and you'd like to know more, and enjoy it. Enjoy the conversation for what it is. But the biggest thing here is how you approach a woman is either going to be a cold approach where it's an interruption, but it's necessary because you don't have any time. You'll probably never see her again in your life. In that case, do what you must. The other way is looking for indicators of interest. Again, these are women that you don't know. Hence why the question is, how do you approach a woman? Look for indicators of interest. And once you see those, then it's a much more organic approach, and you can just initiate by asking any question that you genuinely want to know that just makes sense in that context. So we'll get into some specifics. I'll share some stories on what's worked, what hasn't worked, but for now that gives you enough to begin to willingly do that. Oh, one caveat here. If you're deathly afraid of doing this, start by just saying hi to people tomorrow. Just say hi to at least 5 people. Try to make 2 of those people that you're attracted to. Just begin to get into the world of wanting to communicate with people and say hi, initiate conversation. That'll take you a lot further than just kind of jumping into the deep side of the pool. So that's it for today. If you'd like more information, or you're struggling with any dating advice, I would say just just hit the button below that takes you to my scheduling page. Every Wednesday I answer consulting calls where we just briefly discuss where you're at, what you're looking for, and how I might be able to help. So do that if you get a chance, and let's jump on a call.